Also, something I really appreciate, and I think that you'll really appreciate when I bring it up, the telekinesis move always works.
Yes.
There doesn't need to be an item nearby, the game will find one. And it will always work.
Kind of reminds me, again, of kind of like that God of War reboot mechanic with Mjolnir. And it's just like, or not Mjolnir, but you know, your axe.
Yeah.
And it's like the most satisfying thing in the world. You just click that button, and there it is. Because of course, if Jesse is the director, and if Jesse has, you know, supposedly some measure of control over the facility, then her superpowers ought to be superpowers that just work when she uses them. Also, there's nothing more frustrating than pressing a button in a video game that ought to do something and it doesn't do anything. Man, those dust effects are fucking nuts.
It looks incredibly good.
I'm looking at it from just a few seconds behind and everything, but it just looks so good.
It's like the effects in Alan Wake turned up to 11, like we said.
Yeah, so this game is running off of Remedy's Northlight engine, which is the engine that they used for Quantum Bjork, and then later this game. And boy, oh boy, like, we'll talk about it a little bit with some of the cinematics and character models in cutscenes that show up later. But just like, holy shit, what a great engine. It's right up there with the Fox engine as to just like, look at
shit.
Kill him. I believe in you and your ability to kill him.
Let's see how he likes this, whatever this is. It didn't explode. I really needed that to explode.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Where'd he
You
go?
would think. Where'd he go? You would think that a brightly colored cylindrical object in a video game would blow up. That's okay. Just keep taking the rocks. Keep smacking the rocks.
Not only does it always work, but it has incredibly good sound design.
It's always effective.
Shit.
The only thing better than a consistently working mechanic is a consistently working mechanic that is always effective. It's never not an option.
And it's one of your best options. Where is this sumbitch? Yeah, there we go.
Sorry, we're getting a little bit of disturbance here on Discord's side.
It's the hiss.
Tis the hiss. It's infected OBS.
And Discord.
Well, Discord is just an agent of the hiss.
It is the hiss.
Discord was never benevolent in its workings. Only malevolent.
Unlike the hiss, which we don't even know what its deal is.
Unlike the hiss, which can be, to a certain element, controlled, Discord cannot be understood nor can be controlled. Discord lives up to its namesake.
It does.
Also, I need to install some sort of PNG edit on my computer that changes Discord's icon to Eris's Apple Discord. I might have to make it myself.
Probably will have to make it yourself.
High-res renders of those don't exist.
Not with that attitude.
But believe me, I've looked. I searched high and low. I've found some decent facsimiles. Found an example that is like relatively close. Nothing that doesn't require some degree of editing. And let me tell you something about editing. I'm doing a little bit too much of editing. As classes roll down to a, sorry for the moment of quiet reflection and contemplation there. As classes roll by towards the end of the semester, and the end of this year, in fact, I have more and more of my schedule being taken away by just random things that they're like, hey, why don't you work with a partner? Won't that inspire you to learn? And I'm like,
fucking no.
Not really, man. Not really.
There is not a moment in all the time I spent in school where I wanted to work with someone else. Because you know what happened when I did?
You did all the work?
Yeah, I did all the work. Because I got partnered with a bunch of chuckle fucks who thought it would be a better idea to just sit around and talk. So I wound up doing everything.
Now, this is not something that will work if you're not, like, I guess a certain type of person, or a type of person that can deal with people not liking them. But if you're down for taking some of the heat for it, you can absolutely be like, hey, professor, guess who did all of the work?
And guess what? I did do that.
How'd that work out for you?
I don't remember.
Oh, well,
it's been too
must
long.
Not have been too bad then. It probably was just fine. They probably docked like 20-30% of their score or something and they didn't even notice.
Thanks for telling me that, Ati, after I already figured it out.
It's fried up.
Don't yell at Ati. Ati's doing his facial.
Inside the plant has a shit fit.
Ati's doing his best.
You know what, though?
What's that?
The telekinesis gimmick is strong enough that it could just be the whole game, honestly.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
The service weapon is great and all, and it does serve a vital purpose, but the telekinesis mechanic isn't, like, unreliable enough to the point where I need it.
Yeah. The thing that I would say to you is something that you've heard me share this sentiment before, is like, I find superpowers way more interesting in games than firing a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like a cool sci-fi space gun or dimension hopping shifty gun, whatever. The second that you give me a gun in a game, I'm like 30% less interested. If Jesse could be like doing weird time warp shit and influencing the environment, right? Like pulls out her hand and like a column spasms out from the floor and just crushes somebody. That'd be rad.
Utilization of paranatural elements. Munitions testing on object of power 22, aka home safe. The safe object of power can produce a barrier using objects or material from its immediate vicinity. See OOP 22 case file for more details. Bureau Rangers were given permission to employ heavy weaponry against a para-utilitarian bound to this object in order to gauge the barrier's durability. Some unknown crazy shit and some other unknown crazy shit were tested with fucking wild results. Testing will continue until morale improves. The safe object
Thank
of
you.
power is a clearly viable candidate for use in combat response scenarios. Allowing para-utilitarians to participate in altered engagements would be an advantage worth considering. Refer to the file for the full report.
I like it.
I'm looking forward to getting it in a second.
Anything that people look at and they're like, that's problem, I don't want problem near me, give me the problem. I will weaponize it. This is a really good example, by the way, of something that Control does really well, which is the soft shadows.
Yeah?
This whole room in particular is just filled with them. And soft shadows and advances in lighting, it's always been the big thing for me that separates what makes a video game look like a video game and not look like a movie or real life. And it's still, it's getting there. Lighting is the big difference between making your scene look flat and boring and making it look like some artistry and care went into it. Also, probably what gives one of the highest hits to your performance in this game.
Oh yeah. Lighting is not cheap to render.
Not right now, no. I look forward to the day where lighting becomes one of those things that people look back on and they're like, I can't believe we did it this badly for so long. It takes nothing now.
Kind of like cloth physics.
Exactly. Like anybody with a Unity build can make soft lighting and make it look great now, right? That's the world that I want to live in. Also, we'll talk about this a little bit more in when we eventually get around to Phantom Pain, but talking about the Fox engine earlier and cloth physics, something that the Fox engine does, which is fucking bonkers, is they basically made it so that you could upload sewing patterns and cloth patterns into the program itself, and it would be able to model and realistically render clothes based on the patterns that you put in.
That's kind of insane.
It's fucking nuts. The Fox engine was only ever used for like 2 or 3 games ever. One was Phantom Pain, one was Metal Gear Survive, and one of them was like, I don't know, something else that I forgot about. But like, Konami kept the exclusivity rights to the Fox engine after it was made. Oh, and PT. PT was made with the Fox engine, of course. Talk about fucking astounding lighting in a game, Jesus. And yeah, like that's kind of one of the biggest things, the biggest like tragedies of that whole Konami thing is just like
The Fox engine being delegated to Pachinko.
It's incredible. The Fox engine is so fucking awesome. Apparently, like, notoriously difficult to use, but you remember some of the footage and some of the screenshot comparisons and stuff coming out for PT, and it was just like, yep, that looks like a hallway. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But luckily, Kojima Productions has been able to replicate some damn good-looking and similar results on other engines. Death Stranding runs on the same engine that Horizon Zero Dawn runs on, and Death Stranding pretty much just kind of looks like Phantom Pain. It's a very pretty game. Phantom Pain and Control are both games that you look at, and if you're like me, you can't look at it without thinking, wow, this was expensive. Look at all this money.
Look at all of this hardware melting that's going to take place if I try to run this.
But something that I like about Phantom Pain, in particular, that game is astoundingly well optimized and will run on a potato.
That's always good to have.
Like, keep in mind, those games were running on, like, Xbox 360s and PS3s, if I remember correctly.
I'd like to file a formal complaint regarding the unauthorized use of my voice in a state of quality that I did not agree on. The fact that they were planning to use material from what I thought was a rehearsal was not communicated to me at all. Had it been, I would have disallowed the use of those recordings. I want the use of the Ranger field training course recorded messages to halt immediately. I will not stand for this humiliation among my peers. I will go to HR if this is necessary. Signed, Randall Pulaski.
Yes. Anybody who has done voice work can fucking attest to that shit. Wait, what? You went with the bad take? Why would you go with the practice take? Are you... what the... does... It sounds like garbage.
So
Are you aware of the situation with Resident Evil?
You're doing it.
Specified amount of time. When you're ready to start, press the button. Is that all, or?
I always
Get
did
ready,
love
Ranger.
obstacle courses.
Course starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Are you aware of the situation with the Resident Evil 1 voice acting and why it turned out that way?
Because they let a Japanese speaker decide on the takes?
Not even that. Like, it's worse than that, right?
Is it though? Can it be?
It can be. So not only did they let a Japanese voice director take control of the takes and choose what they thought sounded the best, they also chopped up those takes and, like, Frankensteined them together. So they're not even completed bad takes.
Wonderful.
It's even worse than you thought.
5 seconds remaining.
I just failed.
Course failed.
Oh,
Try
damn.
again, Ranger.
Come on!
But, like, that shit is astounding to me, and it's one of... It's so, like, brazenly disrespectful that it's hilarious. And it really goes... Like, Control is a game with some excellent performances in it. Like, across the board, everybody is really, really good, right?
Course starting in 5,
And
4,
it really goes to
3,
show you, like, the
2,
difference between
go.
voice acting in '98, let's say, and voice acting now in video games specifically. Just like so much more care
60
is
seconds
given. It's no longer just like a necessity that some dude in the office can do, as much as it is like this thing. For the amount of money that we spent on this project, it needs to stand up to Hollywood, and if possible, surpass it. And that's how you get some excellent performances like
15 seconds remaining.
like all of the capture work in Uncharted 4, for instance, is astounding. They did a really
Guessing
good
this
job of
isn't
it.
usually part of the course. It's protecting itself.
And of course, Remedy was always, like
Harder to
Kojima,
break that shield.
always wanted to make movies rather than games.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around in the industry.
And it, especially for them, like, you know, even games like Max Payne and Alan Wake always had really good performances. To them, it was always kind of important. But for the majority of the industry, you had, like, I mean, you have fucking Nintendo with the English Breath of the Wild dub, and that is just, it's not good. And it's kind of hilarious that such, like, arguably one of the biggest games ever is has such a strange choice for its vocal performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess they thought it just wasn't that important.
To the point that when that game first came out, you couldn't switch between different languages and keep your subtitles. They had to patch that in because so many people complained about the voice acting. And it's funny because it's really only like that in the American version. Like, the Spanish localization for Breath of the Wild is notoriously really good. The Japanese localization, or, you know, not localization, but the Japanese recording in that game.
Japaneseization.
It's really just kind of the North American one, to my knowledge, that isn't very good. And it's not like it's terrible. It's just okay.
Not as good as it could have been.
You might find similar voice acting in like a Nickelodeon cartoon, rather than
something that costs that much money.
Yes. Like that car probably costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Jesse. You may have died, but quantum suicide will save you.
It sure does take a while, though.
Yeah, you gotta load all that, you gotta load all those assets.
You gotta wait for the entanglement to line up just right. Then and only then will it work.
Now loading the 505th game. These sure are some sick loading screens. If only there was some sort of remedy to the problem. Come on!
Oh, if only.
You see, you know what? No. I'm looking at a news article, and I'm not going to say it out loud. Never mind. That's off-stream content.
You have to go to the OnlyFans account for that.
That's correct. Our OnlyFans account, where the only video feed is just a live feed of my desktop as I scroll through Twitter. For example, I never played the Kingdom Hearts game, but I'm interested in seeing what that whole thing was about, because people fucking love those games, right? Like, people are those were formative for so many people. And I look at this new, like, Guitar Hero rhythm game or whatever that's coming out, that's like an official part of the canon or something. And I'm like, that's incredible to me that that would happen. Could you imagine, like, God, what would you say? Like the next, could you imagine the next God of War game comes out?
And then my dog decides to be a fucking asshole because he sucks.
Your dog is like, I love Kingdom Hearts, let me talk about the rhythm game. Your dog is over there championing the why is it so weird wagon about Pluto being in the game and being a dog, while Goofy is also ostensibly a dog that can talk. And we're like, listen dog, we've been past this as a society for some time. You just have to accept that the cartoonists did not consider this and that they're both just meant to be dogs.
It's fine.
It's not an issue. I don't know why your dog insists on bringing it up.
I don't know what this shit wants from me. It says I'm supposed to be in this room.
Looks like a mushroom samba in there. You got those power nerds. Can you use those for anything?
I don't think so.
not sure. It just looks like the inside of the Bebop fridge. McDonald's says it expects to launch a plant-based product line called McPlant. Beyond Meat shares plunge more than 6%. Beyond Meat shares turn sharply higher after spokesman for the company says Beyond Meat and McDonald's co-created the plant-based patty, which will be available as part of their McPlant platform. Beyond Meat is excellent. McDonald's is evil and terrible. As somebody who had to, for medical reasons, switch to a vegan diet for a couple of months in 2018, I think it was, might have been 2019, Beyond Meat was a lifesaver. I have genuinely had Beyond Burgers that tasted like better grilled meat than most, like, 100% beef patties that are made improperly.
I had to do the same thing once, and you know what I had to eat?
What?
Soy and mushrooms. And that was my life.
Yeah. It sucks. I understand. I ironically can't have very much soy because of those same allergies and everything. Mushrooms are fine though. Can't go mushroom hunting.
You can't go mushroom hunting.
Yeah, that's what they say. You can't go mushroom hunting home again. Man,
I did not expect to just be able to climb over that, honestly.
You did it, and I'm proud of you. I can't believe how good this Miles Morales Spider-Verse costume looks. It's so neat.
Next game is Wednesday at 8, usual spot. Hazard owes me $20. Arish still on a fucking winning streak. Someone please figure out how he's cheating. Thompson, suspended for a game because of that shady dealing incident. Guy, I owe you $60. I brought beers last time, so it's Hepstenstall's turn. Remus.
Damn it, Lupin. You can't trust an animagus.
Can't.
Even if Remus Lupus is like... Sorry, Remus Lupin is, Remus Lupus. He's like the nicest person in that whole canon. It's so neat to me that, sorry, talking about this Miles Morales thing. For those who maybe don't know or just listening, the Miles Morales game coming up has an unlockable costume that allows you to dress up as Miles Morales, specifically from Into the Spider-Verse. And they animate in-game. He specifically animates at 24 frames per second, and it looks really good along with the cell shading and everything. And part of that is because something that they did in the movie was while all of the other Spider-Men and Spider people are doing their things, they're all animated at 60, I believe, and Miles is only rendered at 24, while he's learning to be a Spider-Man. And only in the final act of the movie does he complete his animation cycle and get an upgraded frame rate and fully become himself. And it's really fucking cool.
Wonderful. The gun is also a key, speaking of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. That'll let you into the, Quick, what's a Disney World with guns? The Incredibles. It'll let you into the Incredibles universe.
You thought of that fast.
I tried real hard.
That's it.
Could you
The other sector should
imagine
be open now.
the next Kingdom Hearts game comes out and one of the
think it's
worlds
time
is
I
the
told
fucking
Emily why I'm
Incredibles?
here.
How much money they would make?
I'll risk it.
Now I'm upset
Shield rush.
because I want it. I have a mighty need, one might say.
Shield barrage. I want that.
That's just your armor lock.
More or less, yeah. I require more points. Also more pants.
I require the egg.
You
It
two
is
should
in
get
your
to know
best
each other.
interest to give me the egg.
I think I'm going to get spin.
Do it. Get that motion. Make yourself dizzy with power.
Oh, I will.
I know you will. I know you well enough. If the option for dizzying power is made available to you, I know that you will take it.
Always.
Sir, have you gotten drunk with power? Of course I have. You ever tried going mad without power? It's crazy. Nobody listens to you.
Ooh,
You like that, huh?
I do. Looking
know
forward
what
to
I like?
trying it out on something that's alive.
Yeah. I hear it's especially powerful against living things. Although that bullet spread makes me think that it's probably going to be better at close range.
Much
Like
like our
close to
shotgun
mid-range.
here.
Yeah.
But if it comes down to it, I can switch at any time.
Exactly. Like, it's a system in which you don't lose anything by trying. Let me tell you, that's something.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Potts. No, wait, that's something else. Unless you review by Captain Lopez. These days, most YA novels intertwine the coming-of-age story with either a contrived dystopian setting or a tragic romance.
Fuck.
Unless you manage to do both. In the story, the protagonist and her love interest search for a cure to a virus called the Fix, which is simultaneously killing her and spreading across the world. To find the cure, they go on expeditions into dangerous, uncharted territories. The people all live in walled cities now because dystopian future. And along the way, they just have to fall in love. I like how we never got to know if the Fix was ever actually fixed. The ending was bold, especially for YA. The main character succumbs to the Fix when she's so close to the cure and commands her love interest to go on and save the world. She knows this is the end for her, but that the job can still get done. She dies out in the unknown, alone and surrounded by danger, but never loses sight of the goal. That's a good soldier's death. I give this book a 3 out of 5. I feel most of the teenage angst is a little lost on me, but I'd recommend it to my brother's kids.
Oh shit. Yeah. That reminds me of a young adult I read when I was a kid, which you would probably find the concept of it interesting.
Yeah?
It was called Children of the Ember, I believe, or something of the Ember.
I may have read that. That sounds familiar.
It was a series in which it was Children of Ember, City of Ember. It was the City of Ember. Was the first book in the series, and it was a post-apocalyptic series in which everybody basically lived in a world without light, and essentially the whole idea was like the beginning to Fallout, where you have to go and look for like the water purifier or whatever, right? Because all the lights are starting to go out, and people are like, well, shit, if all of the light bulbs fail, then we're gonna live in darkness literally forever. So, you know, adventures ensue, and young adult novel ensues. And they get to the end, and spoiler alerts for this book that's been out for like 2 decades or whatever. They get to the end and they realize, oh, hey, of course, we were underground the entire time. Because the top of the world has just been fucking destroyed and is utterly gone. So people have just been living in caves forever, and they have no idea that that's what the deal is.
That sounds about right.
And it's like, I remember getting to the end of that book and having that be the surprise, and me being like, well, yeah, I kind of assumed that everybody lived underground. I didn't realize that we were supposed to do, like, the mental gymnastics of a world without light. I just kind of assumed that if everything was running off of batteries, and the batteries were running out, that you would be underground and in caves.
Listen, Emily.
And I think that was a formative moment for me when I was
Screw it.
I was like,
Just
you know
tell her.
what? Maybe I'm a little too old for some of these books.
Honest.
And I was like 10.
I have a younger brother, Dylan. When we were kids, we found an old slide projector in ordinary.
Then the Hunger
landfill.
Games came out, and the only character that I care
slides
about blew
created
up. And I was like, well, I guess I don't have to
doorways
finish
to
these
other
books
places.
then.
Bad things happened.
They're good books, though, from what I understand.
Came through. That's all she gets. The
They're no
rest
Harry
stays
Potter,
locked
but they're all right.
inside. But we found help. Through one of the doorways, we met.
To my knowledge, their creator isn't, like, baddie
being.
and possibly evil,
A
like
being.
J.K. Rowling is.
What kind of being?
It's hard to
You know,
describe.
I like
But it-
Harry Potter. I'm a Slytherin.
She helped us. We managed to turn the projector off. The bad things that came through the doorways were gone. After that, your people came. Tried to grab us. I ran away. They got Dylan. I left him behind.
Bureau agents took your brother?
Yes. You covered it up. No one believed me. I just want to find Dylan. I've been looking for him ever since.
What happened to the slide projector? It sounds like another object of power.
I thought you took it. The Bureau,
I'm noticing details
along
here,
with Dylan.
like the
I've
occasional
never heard of it.
bloodshot vein
But
in
around
Jesse's
here, I
eye.
assume everything's
And I'm just like,
classified.
holy shit.
You know, I looked into the ordinary AWE case files
Games
after
have
you
really
mentioned
come
it.
very
Trench
far.
and Darling were both involved. A large area of the containment sector was reserved for it. The case hasn't been active for a long time. I have no idea if anything's still there. Can you tell me more about this being you found?
Let's hope you two get along. She's been with me ever since Ordinary. In my head. She led me to you. I call her Polaris.
As in a guiding star. Did Polaris know about the hiss? If she got you in here in spite of the lockdown, she's very powerful. Which may help explain your test results. Your readings are incredible, Jesse. Now, cross-referencing them with the database, I found 2 matches in Darling's old classified files. Unfortunately, I can't access them beyond the file codes, but one was P6, referring to a prime candidate for a potential future bureau director. This was logged years ago.
Dylan. Is that Dylan?
The other match is on something called Hedron, which must be connected to these Hedron resonance amplifiers somehow. All I know is that Marshall went to the research sector to secure the HRA production after the hiss first attacked.
So, Marshall seems like our best lead on Dylan. I need to go after her. How can I get to the research sector?
Use my keycard. The sector elevator will take you there.
We're up to clearance level 3.
Excellent.
Marshall is the next step.
You know,
What Emily
talking
told
about
me about ordinary, my
the,
powers being connected to things in
like
the girl's
graphical
past,
fidelity on
I am
her
so
eyes
close
specifically,
to something.
Yeah?
it reminds me
feel
of a
it?
quote about
Something's coming.
when Mass Effect, I think 2 or 3 was coming
We
out,
take turns to
and
come
they were
for a
talking about,
visit.
you know, back in the old
I
days,
helped
you
you
know,
owe
when
me
we
now.
were playing Pac-Man,
And when time
one
comes,
board of this
I
maze
will come call
would
you.
have like, you know, 300 whatever pixels in it, and now we have that many pixels in the glint of Shepard's eye.
Yeah.
And then I look at that and I'm like, all of the pixels that were a glint in Shepard's eye, and then you look at the difference between Shepard's eye in a close-up and Jesse's eye in a close-up in this game, and you're like, shit.
We don't have the proper facilities.
I understand that it's just technology moving forward and that my caveman brain can't quite comprehend it, but holy shit, you know?
Yeah?
Sometimes I look back on these milestones, I guess, of technology, and I'm just like, the pace at which it's developed is really impressive and kind of inspiring in a lot of ways. Not to mention just staggering. But still, you know, you look at it and you're like, we've still got a long way to go. Just a bit of rumination, I guess.
It never ends. We've not even gotten close to the singularity yet.
No. The singularity is more terrifying than anything in this game, and that's saying something. Because that shit's gonna happen.
But what if Polaris is the singularity? I mean,
Something
look at
tells me.
it. Some
Look,
fractal bullshit.
I'm just saying, if a unintelligent creature like a human can look at humans and say, I don't like that, I don't imagine that a robot more intelligent than human will look at human and say, I like that. In all probability, an intelligent robot will look at humankind and say, yep, that's a mistake. Better get rid of that. Just, you know, shift around a couple zeros here and I'll take this one, put it there, and there you go. No more people.
And you know what, though? If I had that power, I would probably do the same thing.
The difference, I guess, is that I wouldn't, in that I have a sense of idealism and optimism that it can change and that humans can be better. And then I look at a robot and I'm like, yeah, but if I was thinking like a robot, I would never get to that level. I would just see human problem robot solutions. Make more robot. Make less humans. Make all robot. Make no humans.
This is awesome, by the way.
And you're doing it. Seems like that gun's working out pretty well for you. Jesse is becoming steadily more and more powerful as the game goes on. And in reality, it's only been like a day, maybe.
Not even. It's been a couple hours.
Yeah, it's been like an afternoon.
Ow.
It's one of the things, like, I love the pacing of this game. It is so brisk. I appreciate any game that, again, gets in, does its job, and gets out. Because if you decide later on that you want to come back to it, cool. You have left yourself enough room and enough goodwill in order to do so. and it won't be overstaying your welcome if you come back in a couple of months and say, hey, we put out some story DLC. But if you, set out to make an 80 to 100 hour game on the outset and then fill it with like DLC on top of that, and you're like, you can collect 100 bear dens or fucking whatever.
You can get 100 Koroks. There's like 800 correct. In that game.
Yes, there is. I believe there's more.
Like 863 or something.
Some
ridiculous number like that.
And I love the reward that you get for it.
Is there a special reward for getting all of them?
You could say that.
What is it? I'm never gonna do it. Just tell me.
You get a solid gold pile of dung.
For real?
I'm not kidding. And the implication that the Korok seeds that you've been gathering from all along have of Korok dung. It's based on a pun in Japanese, but when you translate it to English, it really comes across as like a piece of commentary that's like, yeah, it turns out if you put all of this bullshit in your game, what's your reward at the end? Usually not much more than a big glowing pile of shit. I'm not kidding.
That's wonderful. Where's the damn elevator?
They say the new director can launch objects up to 20 feet. Bullshit. Obviously, you never read the...
You can edit it in later.
What? Oh, the image?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on.
The image that I suspect you are Googling right now.
444. I need a timestamp. Let's get out of this full screen. 149:58. Okay. So yes, the let's see what we've got here. The Kin no Unko, or Golden Poo, is a Japanese cultural phenomenon. It is a symbol of good luck, as the name is a pun, meaning golden poo and good luck in Japanese. Well, it's straightforward. By 2006, 2.7 million mobile phone charms in this form have been sold. It appears as an emoji available for Unicode.
Anyway, I've been here for 24
The 2017 video game Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild contains an item known as Hestu's Gift, which resembles a Kin no Unko.
Authored studies of grave importance, and
yeah, it is exactly what you think it is. Just a golden pile of dung that's polished and very shiny.
We're committed to keep pushing the known laws and borders of reality, and to make the Bureau proud. So, welcome.
A key item from Breath of the Wild, obtained after returning all 900 Korok seeds. 900.
900.
It serves no purpose other than being an award trophy for collecting all Korok seeds.
Research sector, huh? Home of the Bureau's mad scientists.
That seems like the kind of thing that would be stupidly difficult even if you had a guide.
It is. I say from personal experience. I mean, there are a lot of those that are, skill and timing based even. And even if there weren't, even if they were all, like literally all of them, just the copy and paste stuff. They're everywhere, just like the time commitment alone is immense. And that's without even considering, like, hey, how much time do you want to spend doing essentially all of the shrines, right? 120 shrines and 900 Korok seeds. And you can go even further with it too, because you could say like, what if you are the kind of person that wants to collect all of the weapons, or if you were a person that says wants to fill out your Hyrule Compendium and take photos of everything, right?
There's so much to do in that game.
It's incredible. There's so much to do that you can devote playthroughs to, like, I want to do all the shrines, I want to do all of the Korok seeds, or I want to do, you know, all of the collectible things, and you can have completely different games based on how you want to approach completion. It's the same feeling that I have whenever I play a Pokemon game, which is like, dude, I love Pokemon. I don't have it within me to capture well over 1,000 Pokemon now every game. Like, I got 151, I think, in the original. Or you know what, I got 150. I didn't get to you because that was something outside of it. But I got 151, and I did it. And then come Hoenn, I did like as many as I could in that game without Deoxys and Jirachi, who are again the event Pokemon that you couldn't get. And every game that comes out, I try to do my best, and I get like maybe half of it done. And then this fucking Sword and Shield, like I beat the game and I was like, all right, might as well complete the Pokedex, right? Because it's a smaller Pokedex than we've ever had. And I got like halfway through it, and then the first DLC dropped, and they're like, 80 new Pokemon, and I'm like, fuck. And then I did like 40 of those Pokemon, and then the second DLC dropped, and they're like, all of the legendaries are back, and there's even more Pokemon, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I got stuff to do.
I think I found a mod for the sniper rifle, which I don't have yet.
Okay.
I know what it's called now. It's called Pierce. Pierce Brosnan.
Aiden Pierce. You activate the upgrade on your gun, and it just gives you a stupid baseball cap.
No, it puts a stupid baseball cap and trench coat on the gun.
Yeah.
I like that idea way better.
Gun. Yeah, me too. They call it the Fox. Except when they don't.
Except when they don't.
They call it the Fox, unless they call it the Vigilante, unless characters just call it Aiden Pierce. Because everybody knows who he is. Fuck, dude. So, you didn't play Watch Dogs 1, right?
No.
There are... Oh, hey, look, it's a music room.
And it's got music in it. Poets of the Fall, My Dark Disquiet. Answer
This
questions
song?
within 2 minutes of listening. Did the song elicit any particular memories? If so, elaborate. Did you
Yes.
at any point feel a strong emotion? If so, what emotion?
Yes.
Did a clear image of a weapon appear at your mind during the song? If so, elaborate. Provide a detailed description of your current surroundings as you see them. Have you ever heard the murmur of voices when no one is present? If so, what did they say? Do you hear them now? Please choose one from each of the following pairs. 1 or 2. A or
2.
B.
B.
Day or night.
Night.
Apple or orange.
Apple.
Burn out or fade away.
Burnout.
Paradise.
So check this out.
Yeah.
Poets of the Fall is a band that has appeared Poets of the Fall is a real band.
I'm keenly aware of this.
I very much like them. They have their roots in Max Payne. Yep, that is the Ultraviolet fucking album cover. I've got it on my cell phone. Poets of the Fall is great. They did Late Goodbye that we talked about from Max Payne 2. They did the music in Alan Wake and Alan Wake's American Nightmare. And they are fantastic. That's Odin and Tor, also a Finnish band, by the way. Which, following along with fucking Dark Disquiet is such a good song. I hummed a little bit of it earlier when we sort of started the stream, and they're great. I mean, they're not like amazing, you know. They're in the same way that I kind of fell in love with the Sounds when we listened to the Sounds all those years ago. It is a not 100%. It is a not 100% like natively English speaking band that just makes really solid music that kind of strikes. It hits me differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love their work.
Can I just say how happy I am that there is no music playing right now?
Uh-huh.
Probably not as happy as you are.
Probably not as happy as I am. That means that I have to spend like 20 minutes less on a couple seconds of video footage.
Thanks, Remedy.
Thanks, Remedy. And thanks, Poets of the Fall. They're great. Max Payne, too, did some stuff with Late Goodbye that I really like. That I wish Alan Wake and I wish Control did as well, which is a Late Goodbye shows up a couple of times in that game in different ways. You pass a janitor at one point who's listening to the song on his Walkman, and you can just barely kind of hear it through his headphones, and it's great. There's another point where you come across a mook who's just playing it on the piano before you shoot up the room. I wish that they did more stuff like that, because that stuff can get through the copy. Like, you can show that off in a video without having to press the button that turns the music off.
Mm-hmm. I mean, probably not. Not anymore. The algorithms are getting smarter, and we would get claimed for that.
It's to the point now where you kind of can't hum or play like a cover of a song because the melody gets noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking calm susser Todd.
Hi, Carla. Does it strike you as odd that Dr. Darling insists on having us appear in those bizarre videos of his? I mean, we just stand there. He doesn't even let us have lines or anything. Don't get me wrong, beats a day in the lab, plus it's always great to work with you. Oh yeah, I finished the comparative analysis of the 2 BlackRock samples you sent. The Prism, or whatever you called it. I filed them in the usual place under C for Carla. A handy mnemonic device. Right? Ha ha. Anyway, let me know if there's anything you want to discuss about the data. I'll gladly explain. Maybe we could chat about it over some drinks. Or dinner, even. I can't remember the last time I had a good steak. Maybe we could go together after work sometime. I'm free tomorrow. All the very best. Hubert.
Oh, Hubert, you're landing on a little thick, buddy.
A little bit. You could have stopped after,
though.
like, one of those sentences.
Mm-hmm. He's trying his best. He's trying maybe a little bit too much of his best.
For who among us has touched the foundations of this world and deemed them solid? Dr. Theodore Ashe.
The greatest Pokemon trainer of them all.
Speaking of laying it on a little thick.
Yeah. I don't want to hear any comments about my makeup foundation today.
For who among you has seen the foundation of this makeup and deemed it solid?
No one walked up to Gene Simmons and said that at any point. Who would do this? Who would put this thing here in the bathroom?
Don't worry about it, but also, hey, that means the delay ain't so bad.
No, I think it's at about maybe 5 seconds now.
Picked up. Let's read some of these.
Tell you what, you read that, I am gonna go and get a cup of coffee, alright?
Go for it.
Be right back.
Field research on Hiss entity, Hiss charged agent. The Hiss charged agents are examples of extreme physical deformation resulting from Hiss corruption. Hiss charge display an unthinking fixation on any non-corrupted individuals in the area. Once within a specific proximity, they erupt into a burst of focused hiss resonance so dense that it acts as a physical force. The hiss charge is depleted of the hiss corruption after this eruption. The eruption corruption of the eruption. The host is left lifeless. This behavior may be an adaptive response to the HRAs. The hiss charged are designed to blow the devices off potential hosts, exposing them to the resonance. Is the hiss capable of customizing a corrupted host's altered ability to this degree? Why is the physiology of the hiss charge so dramatically different from the host's original form? Lots of questions, no answers. Refer to the file for the full report. Field research on hiss entity, hiss corrupted sniper. Bureau snipers specialize in eliminating threats from a distance using the telltale searchlights affixed to their rifles to search for targets. Hiss snipers are no less lethal. The corruption has not changed their tactics. They clearly prefer to maintain a good distance from their target, waiting in elevated positions for a clear shot. Care should be taken in open spaces. Check the balconies. I should note that their rifles are equipped with a bayonet for close quarters combat, and the hiss snipers are well aware of how to use it. Field research on hiss entity, hiss corrupted trooper. Troopers are meant to be the first agents to enter any unknown altered world events, thresholds, or any other paranaturally hazardous environment. They are heavily armored and heavily armed in preparation for the worst. As a result of their role, hiss troopers have access to the heaviest armor and weaponry from the Bureau's armory, including military-grade chain guns and grenade launchers. In addition to their already formidable FBC-issued armor, the hiss resonance surrounding these entities is dense enough to stop bullets. If forced to engage one of these, be sure to make use of any available cover. Also note that, to the telekinetically talented, enemy grenades can be a welcome source of ammunition. File for the full report. Initial encounters with the entity known as the Hiss have revealed various behavioral facts. Most notably, the Hiss is able to invade or corrupt control points, altered items, and even humans, radically changing their behavior. Curiously, any person wearing one of the wearable HRA devices that Dr. Darling has been distributing over the past weeks has not been affected by this corruption. The only known exception to this fact is the new director, Jessie Faden, who possesses an inherent immunity to the Hiss. This could indicate that she has already been corrupted, but her behavior is so in contrast to that of the other Hiss that I have dismissed this theory. My final observation comes from Miss Faden herself. She is able to cleanse material and organisms of the Hiss corruption. We tested this ability on a Hiss-corrupted entity, but unfortunately the process seems to kill the host. Perhaps the host's physiology becomes reliant on the Hiss. More work to be done. File. Thresholds have always been great sources of inspiration and great challenge. When a new threshold manifests in the oldest house by whatever hell process, we never know what new discoveries it will provide to the Bureau, but we must always seize these opportunities. This report will examine the process of distinguishing recent threshold effects based on their utilitarian possibilities. The quarry brought Black Rock, one of our most invaluable discoveries, but if the mold has any scientific value, it has been difficult to find due to the lengths we must go to in fighting back the particularly prolific plant. These are very distinct cases and worth comparing, as their study offers vastly different dangers and rewards. Merry-go-round horse. Object to power 16 KE. Object should be kept in a confined space when unbound. A fiberglass horse once uses a seat for a merry-go-round ride. This pole is still connected to the object. The object is capable of moving short distances at high speeds. This can be quite dangerous when people are in its path. They will get pasted. The object is currently bound by somebody. The object was discovered at the site of an abandoned amusement park. Local ragamuffins reported that the rides would move on their own and that they would be chased out. When these rumors reached the Bureau, See America Overnight, episode 235, agents were dispatched to investigate. 3 local ragamuffins were found dead at the scene. The object attacked Agent What's-His-Face by trampling the shit out of him. Agents invoked Formula C.5 to distract the object long enough to sneak up behind it and put it in a burlap sack.
So, I want to say that I came back over to the stream and I saw these files on screen and I got really worried that like we had a pop-up that said, "Hey, DMCA violation, here you go." And I was like, "Oh wait, no, that's in the game."
The game hands you a DMC violation in real time.
Here you go. We heard you talking about how much you liked that band in the other room.
Here's your DMCA takedown. See ya, chump.
See ya, chump. And you're standing there looking at it and you're like, "I'm not paying for these." You know, I was about to say, I really want another game where I can play as Toby in his Spider-Man form.
Yeah?
I forgot that they totally put that in PS4 Spider-Man. You can have the Raimi suit.
That's pretty good. I like that suit.
It's really good with like the raised silver webbing and everything. It would be neat if they would put that in the sequel. I hope that they do. I would be down for Loki tonight. There is a part of me that somehow expects and hopes that Toby's gonna come back in some way, in some form.
He was a good Spider-Man. He was one of the best Spider-Man.
I agree. I'm not sure whether So, he's probably my favorite Spider-Man out of all of... You know what? That's not true. I feel like he's the first one that we got, right?
Yeah.
He is an excellent Spider-Man if what you want is like that slightly older, slightly wiser Spider-Man. I think Andrew Garfield is actually my favorite of the Spider-Men, and I know I'll get flack for that. I think he did an excellent job at portraying what Spider-Man would be in like a Peter Parker in a modern context. I think Tom Holland is probably an excellent Spider-Man for specifically high school Spider-Man. Like Steve Ditko era Spider-Man. The thing that I actually might say, if I'm going to make a distinction, I think Toby is my favorite Spider-Man. I think Andrew Garfield is my favorite Peter Parker.
I need to reach her.
I think Tom Holland is an excellent version of both of those things, but not my favorite. That's what I would say. You know, speaking of that, speaking about that, the Spider-Man PS4 to PS5 remaster that they're putting out, either upgraded edition or whatever. Did you hear about the face swap?
What?
So, in the Spider-Man PS4 like remaster, like upgraded edition thing that they're doing, they changed the face of Spider-Man to in the PS4 version it was very much based off of a dude And in the new one, they remodeled his face so that it looks prettier, but it very, very much looks like Tom Holland, and it's weird. I kind of don't like it. Like, I'm of two minds about it, right? Because on one hand, I think that's like hugely disrespectful to the actor who did it the first time, because he did an amazing job, and Tom Holland obviously has nothing to do with that game at all. But also, I think that maybe the only part of the Spider-Man PS4 game that doesn't look great is the faces. And, like, they kind of look a little plasticky Play-Doh-y. I wish that they had up-resed it and made it look a little bit cleaner, but also not changed the dude to look like a completely different actor.
Yeah, that's a little mean, I would say.
That guy's not having a good time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Flush the tube.
Emergency call supplement. Tell you what, I'll let you read this while I go to the bathroom.
Sure. NA, AWE 18. Details. Transcript of a call to the California State Emergency Services. Dispatcher. 911, what is your emergency? Hello? Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me? I can hear you, ma'am. Where are you? I'm, inside the wires. I'm lost. Ma'am, have you been drinking tonight? I feel like I'm stretching through the wire. Towards you. Don't hang up. I might go if you hang up. Go where, ma'am? Go. Gone. Away. Okay. And can you describe your surroundings? Ma'am. Hello, ma'am? Note. Dispatcher attempted to call the number back, but it was no longer in service. How do you like that? We've got some Twilight Zone era nonsense going on this time. I like that this place also operates as like an entity that you can call, right? Or rather, this is the California State Emergency Services, but like the FBC still gets these transcripts, like it still has access to them. I find that neat. Yeah, that sounds like a particularly nightmarish example of that thing that we were talking about before with Grandpa from Jackie Chan Adventures being able to hear the electricity through the phone lines in the walls. Sounds like that, but the nightmare version. And up to a certain point, it's like, what are you gonna do? The idea of, like, hanging up and then being lost within the wires is fucking terrifying. Reminds me of a scene in Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, of all things, where they're talking about people getting sucked through the telephone. It's literally the call of Cthulhu, right? And Cthulhu on the other end is sucking people through the phone. And at one point, they keep leaving their shoes behind. And they're like, wait a second. If they keep getting stuck through the wires, why do they leave their shoes behind? And Grimm says, shoes can't fit through a phone, dummy. It's maybe one of my favorite jokes in that whole show, and it was pretty early on, I think. I hope everyone out there is happy about filling for time. To my left, I've got a guitar. To my right, I've got a cup of coffee. And in front of me, I have a ticking view count. 45 minutes until the end, huh? Only 7 seconds till the ending. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're out there, and you're listening live, or if you're listening later in the future, I genuinely hope that you've had a good day. And I hope that you have a good day tomorrow. And a good day yesterday, and generally I hope that you're taking it easy. It's rough out there. For all of us. And if you are taking the time to watch or listen to our streams and our videos, thank you, genuinely. It's excellent to have you. Excuse me while I take another sip of my cup of coffee here. You know, it's something that I don't really get a chance to say a whole lot, but yeah, between the 12 hours a week that we sit down to record this and the somehow even more hours that go into editing everything and posting and, you know, putting everything together in a watchable state as best we can anyway. Some of it I don't blame you if you don't watch. It's wonderful that anybody sees it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, welcome back. I was talking about a great many things, including that scene from Billy and Mandy where people keep getting sucked through the phones and they leave their shoes behind.
Yeah. You said that scene from Billy and Mandy, and I knew exactly what you were talking about in relation to what we just saw.
Yeah. Shoes can't fit through a phone. What are you, stupid?
The astral plane. It's similar to an iceberg. What you see is not what you always get. Regardless, this place is vitally important to the Bureau.
Oh, hey, it's more Dr. Darling.
Most information on the astral plane is classified, but we can talk in broad strokes, keeping in mind that these are staggeringly complex systems, and simplification does them no justice. Now, the white non-space, the ever-present inverted black pyramid. The board, all linked, intrinsically tied to the oldest house, tied to the director, the process of choosing
like Alan
a
Wake
director,
crossed with
tied to
Bill
all
Nye the
objects
Science
of
Guy.
power,
Yeah.
in terms of who controls them. Yes.
How do you feel about like full motion video appearing in video game? Because I kind of love it.
I think Remedy does it really well.
Every time it shows up, I usually like it a whole lot. You know, in a modern context, obviously games did it for a long time and did it badly.
The thing is, when you do it in the modern day, like, nobody's pretending that it's the future.
Right. Nobody's looking at it and they're like, wow, look at these graphics.
Instead, it's just another thing that you can do.
Now, there has to be a point to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it shows up, there's usually a damn good reason. And I guess it just so happens that the types of media that I like that, you know, do these kinds of things tend to be, like, thematically appropriate with things I find interesting. Processes and best practices, Astral Plane Exhibition. The Astral Exhibition, excuse me, was originally built for the astronauts to use as a training location, a place to grow accustomed to the sights and sounds of the astral plane before diving into the real thing. We could have done a better job with it, but someone was being stingy with the budget. However, once we discovered the thing, we decided to repurpose the space. Similar to how zoos hope familiar surroundings will affect the well-being of their animals, we hope to observe the redacted behavior in an environment similar to its home dimension. So far, it just breaks everything we put in with it. But Rome wasn't built in a day. Refer to File 3-19-3811 for a full report. Addendum. New naming conventions have been established for the astral entity, now known as Astral Spike. Outdated terms in this report have been redacted. Thanks, Dr. Darling.
Ooh.
An early hypothesis was that the mindscape of the astral plane is subjective. But that was fast proven wrong. It's an actual place, not a construct of the mind, even though it is with our minds that we enter and experience it. But then, One could argue that that's
I'd
the
love
case
to
with
get
all
something
reality.
autographed by Dr. Darling.
We've been able to record footage of the astral plane by monitoring the
Copy of
brain
Alan
activity
Wake.
of those experiencing it. That is the only
I wish I had a physical
that's come
box
out of
for
the
Alan
astral
Wake.
plane expeditions. Apart from one shocking exception. In the astral plane footage, we're always in the vicinity of the pyramid.
Oh, I
We've concluded that
fucking
this,
love the presentation
not
of
the
these
entire plane,
videos.
is what the board controls. We have glimpsed movement.
Like 60 minutes
Native species
in the
always
90s.
in the distance, and yet contact was made. We don't have footage of this, a technical malfunction, but when one of our astronauts returned, a brain cloud, an astral fugue, had hitchhiked a ride in his head. It ruptured out, killing the subject in question. It's a
This is the good
relentless
shit right
predator
here.
Pursuing thoughts, minds, lethal to those the entity feeds on. Proper containment protocols are to be observed when dealing with it.
We got thought parasites.
The Vorbakia vocal cord parasites.
And whatever the fuck this is. This movie night or is this a thing?
They attach to the vocal cords in the host's throat and copulate, creating multiple species of Vorbakia parasite. It's like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind stuff on that screen there. Oh boy, I know this room.
Okay, it can't hurt you if you don't think.
Well, I should be perfectly safe then. I remember this room. I'm excited to see what you think of it. I hear that it's especially powerful against living things.
They're making me think. They're making me solve puzzles.
Stop it. Stop doing that. You have no idea how dangerous it is to think and solve puzzles. Look, it's a big, angry ball filled with nonsense. Honestly, you should just let it touch you. I mean, what could it possibly do? What is the danger here? I mean, that thing just looks downright cuddly to me. You tried to fight the ball, no avail. You've generally got the right idea. Oh, that wasn't the right idea, though. Generally.
Come on now.
You might be able to say that this current combat encounter is Jesse mostly making waves, diving under, as if lightning to the sounds of thunder.
That was
What was the
easy.
Bureau doing with that
Good
thing?
job. I have seen people spend a lot longer in this room.
Marshall, are you still there?
Good job, Ryden.
Shit. We're so close. We need to hurry.
Of course this place would have a hypnosis lab.
Big
Yeah.
danger.
Break it. It's the big angry red ball from Silent Hill. In Downpour. one that chases you through all those hallways?
Yeah.
Now these people have been spending so much time at the office, they're practically glued to their chairs. This is what happens when you don't get in your daily aerobics exercise.
I didn't even see what got me. I thought I was doing good for a second. But only for a second.
I think something shot you from beside you, like on ground level.
The Wolbachia got me.
The Wolbachia vocal cord parasites. God, Code Talker is fucking... Code Talker is so crazy. His voice is like a cheese grater grating against another cheese grater. Hamburgers. Like, everybody in Metal Gear has, like, gruff voice, or, like, Snake, get to the thing. But Code Talker is just, like, on a completely different level.
He is like the Solid Snake to the scouts from Team Fortress 2 Solid Snake, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, you know, the thing about Code Talker is that he is like the world's oldest living man. He sure sounds like you. Also, I'm really glad that you don't have to redo that combat ballroom. Not to be confused with the combat ballroom, which is something entirely different.
Way cooler.
Yeah, you only that's a secret. That's coming up. That's coming up in my soon-to-be produced re-examination and adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, where instead of the dance in the ballroom, they'll just have like a sweeping choreographed John Woo fight in the middle of the Golden Ballroom. And that's how you know that they fall in love, is that they are on the same level as warriors, you know? They can stand toe-to-toe on the same battlefield. Instead of, like, offering Bell his royal library as a gift to show his appreciation and his attraction, instead, he just picks up the entire library like he's Dio or something and just throws it at her.
That's how you know.
That's how you know it's true love. True as it can be. Barely even friends, and then somebody bends the laws of reality. It's never just the same. Ever a surprise. If you find this annoying, you're gonna have to deal with it, because Beauty and the Beast is my third favorite musical of all time. It used to be really good. Best Disney movie, I'll say that. But as like a stage musical, I enjoy that show. Any show that has Gaston in it is great. Like you get both sides of it, right? Because if you think that Gaston is really funny to watch as like a cartoonish villain, great. But if you were in the modern age thinking that Gaston is just an irredeemable sack of garbage, that's fine too, because he fucking dies. He gets it bad.
What do we got here? Ooh, groupthink.
Tosses himself off the top of a fucking castle.
Ooh. Utilization of paranatural elements. Rethinking groupthink. This study extends the works of Irving Yannis, Robert Barron, and others by proposing strong causal links between groupthink and the passive or active use of telepathy. To prove these connections, the parapsychology department carried out various Variations of Solomon Ash's original conformity experiments using a telepathic individual as the subject. See experiments 92 through 45 for details. Extensive qualitative and quantitative data resulting from these experiments was then used to identify telepathic interference within the group. Further empirical findings suggest measures can be taken to safeguard against telepathic influence on behaviors by engaging in the big suck. I don't know why it says that. Rather boldly, this paper stands to revolutionize decades of groupthink theory and provide new directions for further experimentation on the mind, including manipulation of the big suck and other such horrible things.
Refer to the big suck for full report.
We got another one here. You want to take this one?
Sure. As soon as it pops up, I promise I will. Processes and best practices, Astronaut program. I fucking love Astronaut. I just want to say that.
It's pretty good.
Summary. This report serves as an introductory guide to the Astronaut program, including candidate requirements, training practices, and astral research procedures. Astronauts are chosen individuals who explore and document the astral plane by making physical contact with the X-ray light box. See case file OOP-18 for details. In the hypnosis lab, a section of the parapsychology division, physical and psychological training is vital for the repeated transition between planes, known as dives. After each dive, astronauts must undergo a redacted session in the cognitive recording chairs to record their experience in the plane. Gathered data has conclusively proven that jacking in within the astral plane vary wildly between astronauts. On rare occasion, these dives can result in losses, often occurring when teams encounter aggressive astral entities. Refer to file 829-1838, full report. That's one of those things that you found.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Hiss clusters. Field research on Hiss entity. Hiss cluster. Hiss clusters are unique in that they are concentrated manifestations of Hiss resonance without the need of a host. Hiss clusters are dense spherical compressions of Hiss resonance that serve support functions in the hierarchy of Hiss entities. The clusters are capable of replenishing Hiss hosts with infusions of resonance. This does not heal any physical damage inflicted on the organic host, but seems to rather rejuvenate them, allowing them to endure more bodily harm than normally possible. The fact that the Hiss makes an effort to preserve its corrupted hosts underlines a level of awareness and discretion that was previously just speculation on my part. Can this entity be considered an individual or simply an extension of the Hiss as a whole? Capturing one, quote-unquote, alive would be quite interesting. Refer to the file for the full report.
Hey look, it's that thing what you found. It's a big, angry, spherical Hiss.
It's a big, stupid jellyfish.
You need to contain the stupid jellyfish, lest it just regenerate and keep aggressively advancing.
If anyone is listening, we've encountered heavy resistance. We've fallen back to the left.
Oh, it looks like I didn't get it all.
You need to get a little bit more of it.
I'll have to do a better job next time.
That's okay. You're the director. You can take as many damn stabs as you want.
Pierce is precise with a charged shot that penetrates armor and enemies at any range. I can almost make it. Not quite.
I got a casting notification that wants me to do an Indian accent. I'm not gonna do that. Because I don't think that's good. It's not a good idea for a very white person to do that.
Yeah, we all know how that turned out last time.
Yeah. You kids remember that, right?
Are you kooky kids flashing back in here? No?
I see it. Another object of power? They're just
standing there,
Oh no!
mesmerized
I
by
dropped
it.
something. I essentially dropped a whole window.
Don't do that.
I know. Now I need to fix it. I'll fix it later when we're not on camera. For those of you wondering what I mean by on camera, don't worry. You'll find out soon. Refer to the full file for details. This is a neat puzzle. You need to make the GameCube logo. Does that dude just like not own a muffler?
Fucking no. Nobody in this neighborhood does.
Like how do you...
How do I live with it? I don't know.
Isn't that illegal? Isn't that immoral?
Oh hell yeah, I found a Newton's cradle.
Good job.
What if it suddenly just stopped doing the thing that it's supposed to do and it did something else?
I would love that.
I would also love that. I also found
What
the
it-
other most important thing.
What it needs to do is all of them just need to stop in the middle. Like abruptly. Coffee.
Ah.
Look, like uncontainably insane coffee.
I did it.
I saw that-
I'm smart.
I saw that like stack of manila envelopes on the desk, and I fucking thought that it was like a big Krabby Patty sandwich. And I was
What
like,
if,
what
though?
the fuck?
I'm hungry, dude.
Well, go get a Krusty Krab pizza. I hear it's the pizza for you and me.
Please state your name for the record.
Oh, if only I had the
got
pipes for that.
And you are aware that exposure to the astral
What, the Krusty
plane
Krab pizza?
results in
Yeah.
damage, disability,
To do the
personal
anthem?
injury, corporeal entangling, cognitive
I would do it if I
collapse,
remembered the
loss of
fucking
partial
words.
to full dementia. Yeah.
You just said the words,
Do
though.
you acknowledge that your use of the astral contact
Oh,
Like,
is
that's
that,
it.
is that all?
That's it.
That's it?
light box is purely voluntary? Yes, I do. Perfect.
Well, hold on.
Your seat is good?
No, I don't believe
Okay,
you.
you're all set.
I'm gonna bring this
Open
up
the
since
door
it
for
won't
Mr.
play on the
Ward,
fucking...
please.
I was gonna say it won't play on the podcast. You know what, you're right. It won't play on the podcast if I just open it up here.
It won't play on the vodcast.
The
Now,
Vod
what is
Pop.
this bullshit?
The VOD Pop. Hashtag Tuesday Spoons. Sorry, that says Tuesday Tunes.
I have C's.
Oh, that's really all the song is, huh? This is like a 5-minute long clip. I'm gonna close it because I have a feeling that I understand now. I get what you're saying about the Krusty Krab pizza. You got a force choke, huh? Not bad. You know, as a kid, I always felt really bad for Squidward. And I never understood. Like, as a kid, I thought, like, Patrick and SpongeBob are mean to Squidward. Because Squidward just wants to, like, get by day to day, right? And yeah, he's kind of an asshole, but he doesn't deserve, like, all the stuff that happens to him. And as I've grown into an adult, make of that what you will, I may or may not be lying, I feel like I only feel more and more bad. I only feel worse for Squidward as time goes by. Squidward is an asshole. This is correct. But also, like, he's just a dude. He's just a regular guy. He's doing his best. And the amount of stuff that gets taken away from him over the course of the show is ridiculous. Now, you might look at me and tell me that I am looking too much and too hard into this pork cow, this cartoon made for children. And I would tell you, I don't care. Feel bad for Squidward. And you should too. We should get F's in chat for Squidward. Even if I have to do it my damn self.
Oh, they're all dead. Just like Squidward.
Squidward is dead. Squidward's suicide lost tapes. When are we gonna run into the AWE that details Squidward's suicide?
Oh.
Have those gone away?
I hope so.
Like as a cultural thing, like the Super Mario.exe with the hyper realistic blood, like has that gone away?
No, it just changed forms. Now they do it to shit like Teletubbies, which was relevant when I was a kid.
Yeah, what the hell?
And I do not understand the appeal.
What, of Teletubbies? It's made for very small children.
And then you have, like, teenagers and grown-ass adults making Teletubbies creepypastas. Like, why? That
because
I don't
they grew up with it.
So did I, dude! And I'll fess up to that.
The reason that people make those, I think, is because, at least when I was a kid, I found those things unsettling. Like, something about the dead eyes and just, like, the
Marshall,
happy, like,
Yes,
Black
I can
Hole
hear
Sun
you.
Soundgarden world that they
My
live in.
name is Jesse Faden.
Just...
I'm coming to help.
That's what people of that age are drawing on, right?
Hold on. I'm setting the elevator for you. We need to talk.
You got that right.
But also, I find it very strange to dwell on.
More of you?
And
Really?
there's people who are, like, at the age to be watching that show who are now into that kind of thing. This could be bad.
The thing that I found is that in terms of like kids reading into pastas and stuff like that, the thing that I found is that kids nowadays are like way smarter than they were when we were kids.
I don't think that's true.
Maybe I would say more aware. Like, I don't know, man. Some of the people that I hung out with when I was a kid, or the people that I went to school with well into my college years, have been, like, blindly problematic and stupid in a way that I look at the way that, like, I don't think that kids are like that these days.
The thing is, those people are probably still like that now.
That's true. But I feel like there is an awareness to, like, a smart kid that maybe extends beyond what a smart kid was when I was that age. I think I'm wording this poorly, but I think you get what I'm saying.
I think that kids are just dumb because kids are kids and they should not be given any kind of agency.
Marshall is right down the hall.
Kids gotta have agency.
No, because when kids have agency, they go on the internet. And then when kids grow up on the internet, they turn out like I did. Do with
You're
that what you
fine.
will. No.
Look at you. You're the director of the FBC.
Look at you. You have a Twitch channel.
You've got a shifty teleport gun and a bad frame rate. You can do anything.
You can do anything as long as you have a bad frame rate.